Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about Hades 2. You guys, I am so excited to be talking about this game. So real quick, I'm just giving you guys a spoiler warning right here. I'm going to be talking about literally everything that I can, at least. So if you haven't had a chance to play the early access, go ahead and go do that. Come back, this video will still be here when you're done. Couple other small things. I really wanted to at least get to the Kronos fight before I made this review, but because of scheduling with some other videos that I've got coming out, I haven't been able to make it there quite yet, so I won't be able to talk about that. But I think I've seen most of the game at this point. Also, you're going to be seeing a mix of some gameplay I've recorded on my own and some stuff from my streams. I stream right here on this channel. If you guys want to stop by, I think coming up, I'm going to be streaming Hellblade 2, hopefully tomorrow, if you're watching this on the day I post this video. But let's get into it. Hades 2 is by far my most anticipated game of the year. If I'm being 100% honest, when the announcement trailer for Hades 2 dropped, I was sitting there watching it and I was like, man, this looks really good. This kind of gives Hades vibes. And then the little logo popped up saying Hades 2, and I started crying a little bit. I wasn't sobbing, but literal tears came out of my eyes. I was so excited, and I don't think I've ever had that experience with a video game. And so it's been a while, and I've actually got to play the game, and the question is, does it live up to that hype? And I am so happy to say that yes, it does. Without a shadow of a doubt, this game is amazing. And might be my game of the year. Now, we're still pretty early into the year, but right now I can easily say it's been my favorite game of the year. And this year has been an absolutely banger year for games. And we're not even halfway through yet. So currently, Hades 2 is in early access, so it's not a finished game. But what's crazy to me is it really does feel like a finished game. And I'm pretty sure there's more content in the early access of Hades 2 than there is currently in Hades 1, which I think is crazy. Now, I could be wrong, but it definitely feels that way. In terms of early access, the only things I've noticed so far that are obviously not complete is the fish. When you fish, all the ones I've caught so far have had the exact same design, and then the gifts that you get for giving gods nectar, instead of having a unique design for each one, they each are just a ring with a little price tag, and on that price tag is a letter to help you differentiate which god that ring belongs to. So clearly those things, the art isn't finished, and they're going to add later, I believe. But that's it. In terms of early access, that's the only thing I've noticed so far that's okay, clearly that hasn't been finished. Everything else feels finished and super polished. And not only that, it's not very buggy at all. I think I haven't had a single crash yet. It has frozen a couple times, and I was worried it was going to crash, but it unfroze relatively quickly. I just had to sit there for maybe 30 seconds at most. So there are still some glitches, but nothing crazy. In its early access state, it is more polished than a lot of games are at launch. Supergiant always crushes it. So let's talk story now. At the end of Hades 1, spoilers for that game, also, sorry, Zagreus is able to convince his mother, Persephone, to come back home, and essentially works out most of their family drama. Since then, Hades and Persephone had another child, Melinoe. I believe that's how it's pronounced. I apologize if that's not correct. And then Kronos, Greek mythology big bad, we all know him, we all love him, and or hate him, has come and kidnapped Hades, Persephone, Zagreus, and most of Hades' court. That does include Cerberus for sure, which I'll talk about here in a minute. And Hecate was able to escape with young Melinoe. Melinoe? I don't even know anymore. Hecate? I think I said Hecate. I don't know. And they've set up their own camp a la Hades 1, actual Hades, Zeus's office, Zagreus' room. This is your camp for the game. And it pretty much is very similar. In the first game, you get to decorate the area, you can talk to people there, your room is there, you leave for runs there, you pick your weapons there. It serves exactly the same purpose, but has its own unique feel to it. So Melanoi, her job is to, instead of Zagreus trying to get to the surface from Hades, Melanoi is heading down to Hades to try and fight Kronos and free her family, which I think is a really interesting concept. And something I love is the fact that she's taking a different route. They could have gone the easy way and just brought all their assets from the first game over and just had you do Zagreus' run in reverse order. But they didn't do that. This game has its own unique areas that you get to fight through on your way down to Hades. Now, they did bring over the Hades 1 assets, and there are certain events that can happen which will take you to, for sure, the second area in Hades 1. It's the only one I've encountered so far, but I'm assuming maybe the other two as well, and you have to survive. Essentially, Kronos kidnaps you and drops you in one of the Hades 1 areas, which I think is a really great way to still let players experience that without making them do Zagreus' run again. I think it keeps it fresh and gives variety. But where I think this game really stands out and is a huge improvement over Hades 1 is you can also go up and head towards the surface. So it's a bit of a process to unlock the way to get there, and then you also have to get a potion which will let you live on the surface, which, for those of you who haven't played the first game, Zagreus fights his way all the way to the surface and then meets his mother and then dies because there's a curse on Hades' children that says they cannot live on the surface. So you've got to find a spell to break the ward to go to the surface, and then you have to find a spell to make a potion so that you survive, so that Melanoi can survive on the surface. So it's a bit of a process, but once you actually do that, you now have a whole second dungeon that you can run and fight through. So going down, story-wise, you are trying to fight your way to Kronos to save your family. Going up, you're fighting in the real world, trying to help the gods of Olympus fight off Kronos' army. And this is amazing. I absolutely love this because it gives players choice. And going down to Hades or going up to Olympus, all the areas are different. All the areas feel unique. So now, instead of having to just do the same run over and over and over and over again, you get to choose. If you get tired of fighting down to Hades, but still want to play Hades 2, you can instead try and fight your way up north, up to Olympus. And I think this is going to really help with replayability, especially for myself. I love games like this, but doing the same run over and over and over again just gets so exhausting, and it just makes me not want to play the game anymore. That's why I really loved Cult of the Lamb, is because I believe there were 4, maybe 5 areas that you could go through with different enemies and stuff, and it gave variety, and that's exactly what Hades 2 has done. It gives variety, and I'm so in love with it. I literally cannot rave about it more, but I will shut myself up so I don't turn this video into an hour of me just talking about this. So that's your basic story overview. Sorry. And I am assuming that you will be able to beat Kronos and then save your family going down. I'm not really sure final boss-wise what going up will look like. That I'm excited to find out. And I'm not even sure if these areas are done. Like I said, I tried really hard to make it as far as I could in these last few days, but I don't know. And I'm excited. What am I gonna find? What are you gonna find? And also, the devs have already said that they want to add a whole nother area to the game. And so I don't know if that means there's going to be a third path that you can take and fight through, or if they're just going to add more areas to the up or down path. I guess I could say a Hades or Olympus path. I want to spend a little time now talking about Hades 1 versus Hades 2. Let's start with the one thing that I think Hades 1 does better than Hades 2. And that is the upgrade system. So in Hades 1, you have your mirror. You can spend, I believe it's called Darkness, it might be some blank darkness, to just upgrade your character. Hades 2, you have a tarot card system where you spend Ash and Psyche. The Ash you spend to actually unlock tarot cards, and then the Psyche to unlock how many of these tarot cards you can actually have equipped. To Hades 2's credit, this system offers more variety for your builds. I think it's more focused on having just different builds and making Millennium how you want, and that's really nice. But I think I prefer the simplicity of Hades 1's mirror, because you just save up the points, save up the shadow, spend it, upgrade it. You don't really have to think about it. With Hades 2's tarot card system, you only have so many cards you can have equipped. And there's a ton of different variety on how you could build your character, and I really like that. And I don't want it to sound like I hate the system or anything. I still think it's really good. I just think Hades 1's more simplistic mirror system was better. Besides that, I think Hades 2 is an improvement, I think, everywhere else. And that could just be recency bias, let's just be honest here. But I really, really like everything about Hades 2. Let's start with weapons. I think I like the Hades 2 weapons better as a whole. Hades 1, I used the shield a lot. That was definitely my favorite weapon, and I found myself almost exclusively using the shield. With Hades 2, I'm pretty regularly switching weapons. But on top of that, you also have tools. So you have a shovel, a pickaxe, a tome, and a fishing rod, and you get to choose one as you go into the world. And that'll help you farm resources. Now, I do think it would be really nice if you could carry all of these tools at once, but I do think it makes you really focus on what you want to get from that run, which I think is also pretty nice. Hades 2 also offers a familiar system. So right now, I believe there's only two. There's a frog and a cat. I found the cat, but I haven't had the actual bones to give her yet. But I have unlocked the frog companion, and each one does something different. So the frog companion gives you more health, while the cat companion gives you an extra death defiance. And these familiars can be upgraded as you play through the game, and I think that's really nice. Again, it's just something really small that I think adds some extra depth to it that the first game didn't have. It's also adorable to just see the little frog bouncing around as you're playing through the game. I love it. Such a cute little guy. Enemy variety-wise, I think I like this game better as well. But again, I don't know. I'll have to go play the first game again. It just could be recency bias, but I really enjoy the enemy pool that you get to fight in this game. Bosses, so good. I've fought 4 of the bosses so far. Hecate, Hecate, Skrilla and the Sirens, Cerberus, and the Cyclops. So going up to Olympus, the Olympus route, I've beaten the Cyclops. I have yet to run into the second boss, just for context of how far I am on each run. Going down to Hades, I have made it to Cerberus. I have not beaten Cerberus yet. I've gotten close. I have gotten close, but I just haven't been able to get him quite yet. I think my favorite out of the bosses is Skrilla. Is that her name, Skrilla? Now I'm second-guessing myself. Skrilla and the Sirens. I love fighting them so much. 1, I just think they have a really interesting move pool. 2, the drummer is always in the same place, so it makes for easy attacks. But 3, their songs are bangers. I love the songs they play while you fight them. And they have multiple songs that play, so it's not like you're listening to the same song every time you go down there. Hecate, Hecate, however you pronounce it. I really like her as well. I love the fact that she, splits up into 3 different versions. 2 of them are an illusion, and you have to figure out which one is the right one to attack. I think that's a really interesting mechanic. Cerberus is really cool. It makes me sad having to fight him, but I'm really, really hoping that we only have to do it once. That once we beat him, we, bring him back to the camp with us. Probably not, but that's what I'm hoping for. The Cyclops is probably my least favorite out of all the bosses. He just feels a little annoying to fight, but it still feels really good once you actually get to beat him. So again, this might just be recency bias, but I think I enjoy the bosses more than I enjoyed them in Hades 1. Like I said, Hades 1 is amazing. It's one of my favorite games ever. But I just feel like this is a really, really good sequel where it took everything from the first game and just improved on it. Let's talk about gods. The gods all got redesigns. I really like most of them. A couple of them, I think I prefer the Hades 1 design for overall, but I still love all their designs. In terms of boons, I really like the options that you get in this game. I wouldn't say it's better than the first game, just different. The one thing, though, is the first game had boons that dealt effects on your dash, while this game deals effects on sprinting, which is different. And I definitely prefer the on the dash, but I have enjoyed the sprinting. It's nice that we get that different variety, but I do kind of hope that they add a dash ability too. Like maybe you could choose one boon for dash, one boon for sprinting, and that way you can really just hone the build how you want. I have not romanced any of the characters. I'm personally not one to romance characters. I've only ever romanced one character, I think, in any video game ever, and that would be Andrasia from Starfield, which I just did recently because I'm trying to figure out as much of the Varun Kai lore as possible, and so I was hoping maybe I could find some extra tidbits if I went down her romance path, which there was a little bit, not much, so I don't know. I really can't speak on the romance aspect of the game, but I know it's still in here like it is in the first game. I know you can build a hot spring and that you can invite characters to the hot spring, but I'm not really sure how that all plays out. So I'm sorry that I can't really talk about it. I know that's a really big part of the game that people enjoy. It's just not really what I enjoy when I play video games. I really like the spell potion aspect of it. It's very similar to the first game in terms of unlocking stuff, but I feel like it's aesthetically just fits more with Melinoi being a witch. The cast. I can't even believe I forgot about this. I know we were talking about weapons and stuff earlier and how I prefer the Hades 2 weapon pool. I also really prefer Melinoi's cast over Zagreus's. Her cast creates a ring around you, which soul arms will reach out and grab and hold enemies down. I think that's so cool. And then if you hold it, it'll do an explosion, which will deal 180 damage to any enemy that got caught by the cast. I really, really like that. I think that's a much better cast than Zagreus's. Not that I hated Zagreus's. It's just different. And again, I love that. They could have just had Zagreus again, but they made Melinoi feel like her own character with her own moveset. They also added a farming system to the game. I don't believe Hades 1 had one. If it did, I definitely missed it, but I really do enjoy that. I think it's a nice way to get materials for potions, and or you could sell them to get more bones to buy stuff like ash or psych or fabric or whatever. Chiron, whatever his name is, also now gives you these little slips. Every time you spend 1,000 coins with him, you get one, and then you can trade them in for either ash, psych, or fabric, which I thought was really nice. You do have to wait a certain amount of time for it to be delivered. It gives more incentive to spend more money with him, and I really like that. Kronos is a crusty old man, and I cannot wait to bring him down. I really like his design. I really like his voice acting in terms of him being the big bad of the game. I think he was the perfect choice for the villain. I cannot wait till I can bring this crusty old man down. Anyway, I think that's everything I really wanted to talk about. This game is phenomenal, and I know it's just in early access, and you might be a little wary, I don't want to do early access. It doesn't even feel like early access. This game is 100%, without a doubt, worth the $30 that it is right now, and there's just so much to do. I'm probably going to put hundreds of hours into this game, especially with the different builds that come out. And I know I was talking about they want to add a whole nother area, but they have more weapons they want to add. I'm sure they're going to add more characters. They only have 2 familiars. They're going to add more familiars. So there's more to this game that's going to come. I don't know for sure about the familiars. It just would feel weird if there was only 2, just for clarification. So yes, waiting to the full launch, there will be more content, but I really do think it's worth playing the early access right now. Like and subscribe, or else Kronos will come steal your parents. Anyway, that's all for today. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Mother Goose out.